Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. The video I have today is new release review where I give you my thoughts and opinions about the brand new releases. Are they worth your time? But most importantly, are they worth your money? So I'm starting off today's video with 4 brand new releases from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber has really hooked me up with some awesome titles for the month of August. So I'm starting off with the 4K of Prime Cut. Now, the reason why I requested this movie was because I was just really interested in it. It's a movie that I had never seen before, I had never heard of even. So I gave this a watch. Now, I will say, the basic premise of this movie, you have Lee Marvin, who plays someone that has to seek out Gene Hackman's character because Gene Hackman owes money. And he has a quote-unquote meatpacking business, but that's a front because his real business is drugs, prostitution, and human trafficking. He's not a good guy in this movie at all. Now, Sissy Spacek, if I'm reading this correctly, this is her acting debut. That's what it says on the back here. I'm not sure if this is her first acting job ever or if this is her first acting in a movie, but this is her first, I guess, screen credit. I don't know. But she plays one of the women that's found on site at the meatpacking business. Like, she's being trafficked, and so she's saved by Lee Marvin. I found this movie to be very fascinating. I really enjoyed it. It's not the kind of film that I would usually watch, but I'm happy that I did because I thought the film was just so well done. It's kind of outside of the box for me as far as normal films that I would usually watch, but I'm happy that I did. I really enjoyed this movie. It is an older title from 1972. So because of the age of the film, I thought the 4K transfer for this movie looked really, really nice. Kino always does a very nice job with their 4K transfer. So I really enjoyed this one. I do recommend it. I would definitely pick it up in a future Kino Lorber sale. Definitely put it on your list for a pickup. And it's only 87 minutes long. That's one of the other things that I loved about the movie. It was short, sweet, to the point. There was no filler. You know what I'm talking about? There was no filler material in between. Every single scene was important. It had a reason why it needed to be in the movie. So Prime Cut, I enjoyed this one. This movie actually surprised me. I do recommend it. It is worth your time and your money. All right, now this next one. This next one I am so anxious to talk about because I'm not going to go on and on because there's no reason to. I mean, it's Frogs. Frogs from, I think this is brand new, the Kino Cult line. It's kind of like the subdivision of Kino Lorber where they have very cheesy, Velveeta, fun movies, and that's what this is. Frogs is just when you see this film, when you see the cover, you know what you're in for. There's no mistaking that this is going to be Oscar-winning material, and then you watch the movie and it's something else entirely. There's no confusion here. You see this, you know what you're getting into. Now, in the month of August, Kino Lorber, the cult, the subdivision, put out several of these kind of animal movies. They had one with rats. They had one with ants, I believe. There was a spider one. I did not request that one. You guys know the reason why. I'm not a big fan of spiders, so I did not request that one. I thought the safest one for me would be Frogs. I'm not scared of frogs. I don't have a frog phobia, so I thought this one was good. Now, Sam Elliott is in this movie. A very, very young Sam Elliott. Mama Blu-ray and Dad was watching too. He was kind of in and out on his phone, but he's like that all the time. That is no reflection on the movie at all whatsoever. So Mama Blu-ray and we were really watching this, okay? And my mom loves Sam Elliott, and I told her that he's in this movie, so she was hooked, and she was waiting to see him. We had no idea that he actually opens the movie. He's in a little canoe on a lake or something, and he's paddling around. We had no idea it was him. because he's so young in this film. I mean, this had to have been in like the early stages of his acting career, because why else would he do a film like Frogs? You know what I'm saying? So it was so cool to see him very early on in his career, looking very handsome, by the way. My mom was like fainting. Okay, let me just tell you, she loves Sam Elliott that much. So she was so excited to see him in this movie. Now, this film is nothing but fun. I had so much fun watching this movie. Mom and I were laughing like crazy because pretty much what's going on, Sam Elliott, right in the beginning, on the lake, and then he encounters these two. Are they brother and sister? I can't remember, but they're related. They're family. So they're like driving a boat and they like flip him over. They feel bad. So they invite him to like the family estate to like dry off. And for somehow, some way, he ends up staying for like the weekend or something. I don't know how that worked out, but he ended up staying the entire movie for the entire time with this family. And what's happening with the family is that frogs are kind of like dominating over their property. They're everywhere. So I thought it was just going to be frogs, okay? And I was fine with that. We didn't just get frogs in this movie. There were spiders. At one point, there were spiders in this movie, and I was freaking out just a little bit, but I managed to get through. There was like, there were snakes. There was every single kind of like swamp outside animal that you could imagine was killing off the family members one by one. There was even a scene with an alligator and a family member supposedly falls in. It's one of those where the actor falls in and grabs onto the fake animal. That's what happened. It was hilarious. We were laughing like crazy. And of course, the actor's like rolling around with it, going like different directions. It kind of reminded me of Ed Wood, because Ed Wood would have his actors do that in the movies. There's a very famous scene with the octopus in that film. Same exact thing. I had like a flashback watching that movie. I had so much fun with frogs. So much fun. So I got beyond the spiders. I dealt with it. I was okay. I was good. But I'm kind of curious about the other cult movies now, like the ants and the rats and things like that. Maybe I would be doing okay with those. So maybe in the future, the next Kino Lorber sale, they'll probably go down a price for like $9.99 or whatever it is. Maybe I'll go ahead and pick those up, but no spiders. I'm not doing spiders. I can't do the spiders. I barely got through the spiders here, but this was so much fun. And then we got Sam Elliott on top of it, and my mom was just in heaven. And whenever Mama Blu-ray goes to heaven, that sounded really bad. Whenever she really enjoys a movie, there we go. She ain't going to heaven anytime soon. Whenever that sounded really horrible. Whenever she loves a movie, I am happy about that. So this film brought my mom so much joy and happiness, but I will warn you, if you're interested in this, it is cheesy, the cheesiest Velveeta all over the nacho plate in the best way possible. In the best way. Super runny. Super, super runny and super cheesy. So I do recommend Frogs to you if you love super cheesy films. If that's not your vibe, then I would not recommend it. You may want to go for a heavy drama or something like that. But if you want something where you can just laugh hysterically, go ahead. Go ahead and pick it up. It's worth it. Okay, next up from Kino Lorber. This came over just a couple of days ago. I watched it last night. We have Sudden Death 4K with Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is actually going to be available officially. The official release date is next Tuesday, the 27th. But with Kino Lorber, you can only purchase their movies online. They're not in store. They're not in Target or Walmart or anything. If they are, you got a pretty hooked up Walmart, I will say that. But Kino Lorber is available online only, so you still have time to place a pre-order for this if you want. So I haven't seen a bunch of Jean-Claude Van Damme films, but I will say The movies that I have seen of his, like, Kickboxer and things like that, like, they usually follow the same kind of formula just a little bit. But I feel like, let me show off the title. There we go. I feel like with Sudden Death, this one was just completely different from anything else I've ever seen him do. Now, like I said, I haven't seen everything from Jean-Claude Van Damme, but in this movie, he plays a father. He has 2 kids. Right in the beginning of the movie, he's a firefighter. An incident happens. There's a loss. And so he kind of regresses in his career just a little bit. And he has his 2 kids and he's separated from his wife. So he wants to do something nice and take both of his kids to a hockey game because he has to work there anyway. It's like the finals of a hockey game or something. So it's a big, big deal. The vice president is showing up. Why, I don't know, but the vice president is showing up. He wants to see the hockey game, I guess. And something occurs where hostages are taken. Obviously, the vice president is being held hostage. The person that is coordinating all of this wants like $1 billion, like an astronomical amount of money. And of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme's daughter is taken hostage. So then he gets really heated and he's got to go in and he's got to, save his daughter. I thought this was fun. This was fun. Cheesy good way. Cheesy fun. Not Velveeta. Velveeta is frogs. Like that's Velveeta where it's like so cheesy and creamy Velveeta. This is just nice normal cheese. Cheese, fun, mindless entertainment, fun action movie, a different role, a different light to see Jean-Claude Van Damme. I had fun with this one. It was a good time. Like I said, mindless entertainment in a good way, not a bad way. Certainly in a good way. And the 4K, again, Kino Lorber, great job with it. I enjoyed how it looks, so I do recommend Sudden Death 4K as well. This was a first-time watch, and I enjoyed it. I had fun, so Kino is just knocking it out of the park this round. We are 3 for 3. All right, but are we going to be 4 for 4? Let's find out with the Blu-ray of 99 River Street. So this is an old black and white movie from 1953. So the basic plot of this film, you have a man who was a boxer that kind of just, he lost his edge, like he lost like a big boxing match. So he kind of like dropped out. I think also because of like a medical reason, like if he got punched a certain way, he'd be blind, something like that. So he had to stop boxing. Now he's a taxi driver. And the thing is, his wife like hates him. His wife hates him. She regrets marrying him. She thought he was going to be like this ultimate boxer that would bring in, furs and diamonds and riches, and she wouldn't have to work, and one of those kind of wives, okay? So the exact opposite happened. He's now a taxi driver. So she's having an affair behind his back. What ends up happening is that the wife ends up dead in the back of his cab. So he has to kind of find out what happened, who did it. There's also another woman involved. She's not involved with him, but they're like friends. So she kind of joins in to figure out what happened to the wife. It's this whole situation where they're trying to figure out who did what and when. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. It's not like top tier for me, but I really enjoyed it. I really, really did. So as far as 99 River Street goes, I would recommend this to you, but wait for a sale. Wait for the Kino Lorber sale, because this will go down in price to probably $8 or $9.99. You can pick it up then and check it out. Another short film. This is only 83 minutes long, so if you don't have a lot of time, this would be a great choice. And it's got a very nice slipcover on it. If you're lucky enough to pick it up with the slip, this is what it looks like. There's the back of it. Like I said, nice black and white movie. So yeah, I enjoy it. I had a good time watching this one. Straight, simple, basic, to the point. So 4 out of 4 for Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber did a great job this month, but I'm not surprised. They're not my favorite boutique label for no reason. They're always doing something great. All right, now let's move on to other studios. We have Collateral from Paramount. So Paramount sent this over to me. I was so very grateful and surprised because I didn't think I was getting this. And about a week before the actual release of the Steelbook, Paramount sent a random email over offering it to me. So I accepted. Why not? Why not? Anything for free. I'm all about free stuff. So Collateral came in, and I've seen the movie a couple of times, as I mentioned multiple times before in previous videos. I do have the regular 4K, so I had seen that a couple of times, and it's still a great movie. Like, I don't get bored watching it. It's entertaining in a dark way, a dark, murderous way, with Tom Cruise as your ultimate villain. He's the hitman. You know, one of the few times that Tom Cruise has ever played a villain in his life. He's still running. He's always running in every single movie that he's in. And he runs in this movie. He runs his butt off in this movie. Also, Jamie Foxx is in the film as well. He is the cab driver driving Tom Cruise around all night. Jada Pinkett Smith is also in the movie. Mark Ruffalo. So you have a great all-star cast here. And this is a great release from Paramount. The 4K of this looked fine. I don't think they went in and tweaked anything from the previous 4K. It didn't really look different. I gotta be honest. I don't think that there was any huge like manipulation of the previous 4K to enhance it for this release. If there was, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. It kind of looked just like the other one. I do have one thing to say about this one, though. This release, the 4K Steelbook release of Collateral, for some reason, the sound was kind of an issue for me. Only because it just seemed like it was kind of low all the time. I really had to crank up the volume on my TV to even hear it at a normal level. Like, it was at almost like 60 or 70 just to sound normal. So the sound quality was kind of uneven for me, but that wasn't a big deal. I still enjoyed the movie for what it was. Again, I've seen it now like for the third time. So Collateral, I do recommend. It's a great movie. It's got a solid 4K transfer on it. You can't go wrong with Tom Cruise running around, and he's a villain in this movie. So I do recommend. So we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well in this video. All right, next up. This was such... I'm turning red right now. I just noticed my face. It's not even really that humid. I don't know why. I think I'm just having one of my redness spells or something. All right. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Sorry. I ramble. You guys know this. All right. It is The Last Unicorn. I love this movie. I love it so much. You guys have no idea. I've said this before. This movie is nostalgia for me. I watched it so many times on a loop when I was younger because unicorns were my thing. This Steelbook is gorgeous. As of right now, it's in top 10 of the year. It is so... Look at this. So gorgeous. Now, mind you, this is the Walmart exclusive Steelbook from Shout Factory. Okay, so Shout Factory put this out. Amazing looking. I love the colors, but just wait. Just wait. Look at the back. Look at the back. If you know this movie, you know the significance of the Red Bull. There's King Haggard. Yes, I know all the characters' names. I just watched it a couple nights ago, so it's fresh in my memory bank. You have the Crooked Castle right here. You have all the other unicorns from the sea. This movie is so good. I love it so much. As far as the 4K transfer goes, it looks really nice. They did a nice job with this one. I highly do recommend. Now, just to kind of prepare you as far as like the animation style, this is not Disney Pixar, okay? Like, Disney Pixar animation is like its own animal. That is like completely different from any other style. This is like old school animation, but this is an older movie. I mean, I watched this early 80s when I was like 5, back in 1985. This is an older film, so just take note of that. The animation is not going to like blow your mind. It's gonna look very old school, but that's how animation was done back then. But as far as the 4K transfer, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of bright colors in the movie, a lot of green, and it just looked amazing. Because when they're walking, there's a lot of green, obviously, outside with the trees and the grass and everything. So the green, like, popped into my head. But there's a lot of colors in the movie. It pops. It looks great. It's fantastic. So if you are nostalgic for this movie, like I am, and also like other people that I know, you need this in your collection stat, because, and especially the 4K. There is a Blu-ray. There is a there is a Blu-ray in here because you get a 4K in a Blu-ray disc. There we go. But see, the one negative is that this does not close all the way. That's okay. Oh, maybe it just did. No, not really. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Never mind. It wasn't important. So, Last Unicorn, loved. Looks great. The Steelbook looks great. Get it. Get it and pick it up. If you know this movie, you know it, you love it, you need it. So get it. Get it from Shout Factory. All right, up next is the 4K of The Bike Riders. All right, so where do I fall with this movie now? Because this was a rewatch for me. I went to the theater. I had certain expectations that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like Sons of Anarchy with, like, you know, guns and drug running and women and prostitute, you know, like Sons of Anarchy, like, and I was hyped for it. But it wasn't so much like that. And when I left the theater, I was disappointed with the movie. But then after some time has gone by, Universal sent this over to me. So, you know what? I went in open-minded with it because I already knew what the movie was about. So my previous expectations were no longer there. So after finishing the movie, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So I take back my negativity that I said before about this movie. And I think that maybe was other people's expectations, and maybe that's why they didn't really respond to it, or maybe that's why the movie didn't really make enough money at the box office. I'm not really sure. But this movie was good. I enjoyed it. So I completely changed my opinion 180 about the film, because removing that expectation really improved my experience. So I'm happy that I watched it again. I'm happy that I have the 4K. It looks great on 4K, by the way. I do recommend the 4K upgrade, or just the 4K of this movie. Performances are great. Jodie Comer, you know, I know she nailed the accent of the real life person because this is based on a true story. And I know she nailed it. But it's so cringy. It's so cringy. And it's not her fault, because that's what the real woman sounded like, or sounds like. But it was a little cringy here and there. But you know what? I'm happy I rewatched it. And my mom, by the way, clapped like crazy. She clapped like crazy, just like she did over Monkey Man. So I think Mama Blu-ray's top 2 of the year so far is Monkey Man and The Bike Riders. So if you follow with the claps of Mama Blu-ray, you might love this too. So give it a chance if you have not. And if you are watching your dollars right now, you can stream that over on Peacock right now. So give the movie a chance. And when you can pick it up, maybe during Black Friday or something like that, I do recommend that you do. All right, here we go. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. 4K from Arrow. Why did this movie not make any money? Like, this movie was a failure. I remember that. I remember when this movie came out in theaters, it got like no attention at all whatsoever. This is a good movie. This was so much fun, entertaining. It's like a spy thriller. Granted, you have Armie Hammer. Yeah, he's got some damage to his name, okay? Like accusations that were made. You know, I understand that. But it's got Henry Cavill, and I think that balances out the movie. You know, Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill. But I had such great fun with this film. This is directed by Guy Ritchie, and I just feel like Guy Ritchie is one of the most underrated directors that we have working today, because the last few films that he's put out in the past couple of years have gotten barely any attention at all. In particular, the movie The Covenant, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, that came out last year. Amazing war film. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic job. I gave that movie 5 stars. I feel like no one saw that movie. I know a couple people that I talked to really enjoyed that movie. And I want more people to embrace Guy Ritchie as a director. Another perfect example. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare that came out this past year. Again, no one saw the gosh darn thing. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the topics that Guy Ritchie chooses to direct. Maybe they're not so popular, or people just don't want to go and see that genre. I'm not really sure. I mean, that doesn't make sense, because this is a spy thriller, kind of like in the vein of Bond, but not really. It's not Bond, but it's kind of like that, just a little bit. And we were all this is a very comedic movie, by the way. Like, there's some really, really funny parts, in between here and there. We were laughing our butts off. This is such a great movie. So I wish people would just pay more attention to it and give it a chance. The 4K looks great, by the way. So if you want to pick this up, it definitely is worth your time and your money. It is worth your time. Give Guy Ritchie a chance, okay? Give him a chance. I feel like his largest money-making film, I believe, was Aladdin. The live-action and people forget that he did that. The live-action version of Aladdin with Will Smith made over $1 billion, I believe. And that's the highest, and it's the most popular. People know Aladdin. People know Disney. But it's like all of his other movies and TV shows or whatever don't get any attention. So give Guy Ritchie some love and attention, because he really does deserve it. He does. So I enjoyed this one. We all did. My dad clapped like crazy. And if my dad is clapping at this, that really says something. So, Man from U.N.C.L.E., happy I picked it up. It may still be $29.99 for the 4K. So go on over to blu-ray.com and check that out. See if it is. My little spiel support of Guy Ritchie. But I'm serious. Like, he's so underrated. All right, here we go. Next on the list, I feel like this is going to be my only kind of review, and it kills me, because this is my movie. This is my jam. It is Heathers. I went ahead and picked up the 4K from the UK of Heathers, because this was not available here in the US. I have never bought, there we go, use English, Susan, proper English. I've never bought anything internationally. But when I saw Heathers was coming to 4K and it was only available overseas, I did not care. Without a doubt, I had to pick it up, because this is it for me. I love this movie. I always have loved this movie. It's so good to me. It's very off the wall, kind of quirky, weird. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, so I'm trying to think of different words to describe it. But it's a very quirky, weird, awesome script. Like, the language used was ahead of its time. It was just, phrases are used. I won't say one in particular one, but it's very entertaining. But I love this movie. So I knew I had to have it, especially the 4K upgrade, because I do own the Blu-ray steelbook of this movie, one of my favorite steelbooks in my collection, by the way. So I was looking forward to this. I was so excited to see this in 4K. And I do have to say that if you're not a massive Heathers fan like I am, you don't need the 4K. I would say pick this up if you live, breathe, and die for this movie. Absolutely pick up the 4K. But I gotta be honest, the 4K of this movie barely looks any different from the Blu-ray. It's not so much of a drastic difference where I was like, wow, that looks incredible. So I was just a smidge disappointed in this one, but not enough where I regret the purchase. Where the 4K transfer looked really nice on occasion was the colors the girls were wearing, because in the movie there's 3 Heathers on the bottom. There we go. You got 3 Heathers and a Veronica. Winona Ryder plays the character of Veronica, and Veronica wears like bluish purple all the time. I don't know why. That's just the way it was directed. Then you have Shannon Doherty. Her character always wears green. And then there's 2 other Heathers. One of them is yellow and one of them is red. They're always wearing these colors in the film. And everyone else dresses normal, but these 4, wear specific colors. That's when the 4K transfer was noticeable for me, was when, especially with the red coming on screen. Of course, red looks really nice on 4K. It just enhances very nicely, very well. So that was very noticeable. The green, the blue, and the yellow. Those look great. But other than that, I wasn't really noticing that big of a difference. So you don't need this. You don't have to pick this up. You don't have to import it from the UK. But if you're a massive fan like me, then okay. Go ahead and do it. You'll probably want it for your collection. I mean, I'm happy I have it. I don't regret the pickup. I don't regret it at all because I love this movie, but I just wish the 4K was a more noticeable difference from the Blu-ray. All right, so that's going to be my only kind of review, because the movie that I'm ending with, Furiosa, there ain't nothing negative to say about this movie at all. I mean, the film, I really enjoyed the movie. Yes, it's long, but you know what? You're telling a complete story, a backstory of a main character that we first met in the previous film, A Fury Road. So we're going back to Furiosa's childhood. I do think they spent a little bit too much time in her childhood, because we don't even see Anya Taylor-Joy as the main character of Furiosa until an hour into the movie. And the film is what, 2.5 hours long? It's 148 minutes long. So what is that? 2.5 hours, 245, something like that. It's a long movie. So to not even see your main character as an adult for the first hour, that is a pretty long time. But you know what? George Miller was going into extravagant detail about the past and everything like that. So that's like my only actual complaint about the movie. But other than that, I have no complaint about the movie because I really enjoyed it. Chris Hemsworth right here gives such an amazing performance as Dementus. I love how everyone looked in this movie, because every character in every single Mad Max film looks crazy, because they have nothing. They're in a wasteland. So whatever they can find and grab and use for clothing or accessories or whatever is what they have. And everyone looks absolutely insane. But what I love the most about the entire Mad Max saga is that everyone always looks different. You never see anyone looking the same or looking like anyone else. And that really is credit to the costume department and wardrobe and everything. Like, they just make everyone look different, and that is fantastic. So I just really enjoyed this movie. There's so many positives across the board for me when it comes to Furiosa. It's really a shame that this movie was not seen more in the theater, because that's where I first saw it. I saw it in Dolby. I was like, wow, this is great. This is so, because I gotta be honest, the first 3 Mad Max films, I was like, okay, these are all right. I didn't really care for the first one. I gotta be honest. 2, okay, perked up for me. I enjoyed that more. And then the third one, I was like, oh, we're back down again. And then Fury Road. I got to Fury Road. Really, I mean, that's like everyone's favorite, right? Fury Road is everyone's favorite. So I was all set for Furiosa and had a great experience in the theater. So I was looking forward to the home release, to the physical media release. There we go. Use your words, Susan. Use your terms. The physical media release. And this 4K just exceeded all of my expectations for this film. First of all, it looks incredible. One of the best 4Ks of the entire year. It looks fantastic. When they have a couple of scenes where they're shooting like far away, like chase scenes on the dunes and everything. And they have like the sky. It like cuts the screen in half. The sky and then the dunes. The blue and the beige or the tan where the dunes are it's popping off the screen. It looks incredible. It looks amazing. And it's throughout the entire film. And that's how 4K transfer should be. Throughout the entire movie, the entire film looks fantastic. And this delivers that in spades. You guys have no idea. If you've not seen this movie yet, you really, really need to on 4K because it looks incredible. But beyond how it looks, the sound for this movie is on the level of Dune Part 2. I mentioned that in a previous video as well. The sound for Furiosa, it's like the exact opposite from Collateral. Collateral, I had to crank up the volume. I had to turn the volume down for Furiosa. I had it at like 35 and it was too loud. I had to go down to like 30 or even 28 because Mama Blu-ray was like, I can't hear. Like she was just, I was blowing her away. So I had to crank down the volume. So that is incredible. So this 4K release, no complaints. No complaints at all. This is a perfect release. One of the best of the entire year. So please, do me a favor. Do yourselves a favor. Pick up the 4K, the Steelbook, the regular, the black and chrome edition, whatever you guys want to pick up. Experience this movie. You will not regret it. It is fantastic. And that's all I have to say. That is all I have to say. So those are all the most recent brand new releases that I've been watching lately. So comment down below and let me know your thoughts about any of these movies. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.